presumably a lot of people would. What does it take to become a black belt in this specifically, and what does it mean? Like,
it depends who gave it to you. It's honestly just a trick. It's like a marketing trick to keep people hooked. You know, it's the reason why people do jiu-jitsu longer than they do kickboxing or boxing classes. It's a hook to keep you invested. It's like a multi-level marketing scheme, you know. It's like they want to get the blue belt, they want to get the purple belt.
And I guess it's a cheap belt to make too. Like it's just like fabric, right?
It's brilliant. And the black belt has a long established history in all martial arts. So it really is just a marketing strategy to hook people into the sport and make them feel special and validated. But at the end of the day, like, you could be a shitty black belt. You know what I mean? A black belt doesn't prevent or mean anything at the end of the day. You're only as good as how you could train and perform. So it is, in my opinion, a marketing trick. However, if you're talking to a female that doesn't train, then a black belt signifies something of great importance, discipline.
Right.
It means other different things to different people, you know.
Is it like the athletic equivalent of a PhD?
I would say so, yeah. I guess you could have a PhD and be an idiot, and I get, but you could definitely have a jiu-jitsu black belt and be completely terrible.
Okay. So like in general, start to finish, how long does it take to get one?
You could, if you dedicate yourself every day, train really hard, you could really get it in 4 to 5 years. Be difficult, but you could.
Is there any corrupt people who just like
sell it for whatever, you know, like you give them enough money.
Is there some sort of like certification process whereby it's like you cross-reference if it's a legit black belt or?
Not really. There's a tournament, the ibjjf, which is the longest running gi world championships in the world, and they have a bunch of criteria for what you need to be accredited with them, and so that you can compete with them, or you could have a team where your students compete. But it's a whole lot of confusing stuff. And they have rules where it's like, I believe you have to have 3 stripes on your black belt to give a black belt. Like, they have all these rules. So they try to control.
Oh, so there's levels above it too.
Yeah, so there's stripes on the black belt.
What's like the pinnacle?
The red belt. But I believe that's only for if you've been a black belt for 30 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but that's like the highest level of Scientology, you know? Only very few.
It's like when you hit the Super Saiyan you didn't even know existed, and all of a sudden you're like this thing that doesn't even look like the previous iterations.
Yeah, it's because it's bizarre. Because by the time you get a red belt, you got half a foot in the grave, you know. So what does the belt matter if you can't train properly?
Huh. Interesting. So like, I find this actually really fascinating. So you go from white to black. The transition is how many colors between?
So white to blue. You go blue to purple, purple to brown, brown to black. And then you could do stripes on those belts too. So it'd be 4 stripes on white belt, 4 stripes on blue belt, 4 stripes on purple.
But you don't need to. You could just jump maybe.
No, most people do it for white belt and blue belt because they need the most validation. You know what I mean? Okay. Things are so bad in the gym. They're getting bashed. They don't know anything. They feel like a fish out of water. That they need a little something to keep them going, to feel really good about themselves.
Right.
You know, and that's the trick to keep them in the game. But really,
so you're getting a raise in your job or something. You're getting like a little bit of a...
Well, it's like a flex. You just get to walk onto the mats and look at everyone below you in the belt structure like peasants, really. That's the feeling that these people are going for, I think.
Right. Oh, yeah, because it's like a visual status cue as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's really a marketing strategy. I think that's why it's taken hold so well.
Yeah. So 4 to 5 years to get the black belt.
If you trained every day, most people take about 10 years.
So presumably you, Nicky Rod, Gordon, top guys all have black belts, or is it?
Yes. Yeah. We all got the black belt.
Okay. What about the stripes?
I don't know how many stripes. I think I'm 2 or 3 stripes. You're meant to get an X amount. Here's the weird thing. Once you get a black belt, you just get it based on pure time, which I think the first 2 stripes are 3 years each. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
How would they regulate how much time you're investing into getting the stripes, though?
By paying a membership with the ibjjf so that they can track that you're still a black belt, apparently. Yeah.
Is it harder to get a black belt through like Danaher than elsewhere, for example?
Yeah, for sure. He will be pretty tough. He'd be probably one of the most strict.
So presumably it means more to have like a Danaher black belt than...
It does mean more, but he also does it in a brilliant way because he'll keep his students who are elite level students below the level of black belt so that he can now send those students out into the world to beat black belts and go, look how brilliant this guy is. He just destroyed a black belt. But that black belt could be a bus driver or something, you know? So it's like, it's a very genius approach. He'll be like my junior you beat this world champion black belt.
Right. Damn. So there is like a big marketing component around it for sure.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's all marketing at the end of the day, I think.
That's crazy, man. So all in 4 to 5 years if you're going hard, and realistically 10 for most people.
For most people, 10, yeah. You'd have to be really, really good. I think 4 to 5 years, you train every day and you had successful competition results, could easily be justified.
He was accusing me of like stealing their moves at one point.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think about that in terms of like Danaher's game?
Yeah, I mean, I think he did a really important thing, which was show. I mean, this is for my own personal agenda, really. But he showed that like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not the genesis. Like he kind of showed that it's like Japanese Jiu-Jitsu is actually the genesis, which I think is a really important distinction that was going left unsaid for far too long. And so that was kind of eyes on like the phrasing, saying ashigarami and all of that, and talking about it. It was super important. He did it in a very tactful way where he didn't like offend any Brazilians.
I undeniably think it was he liked to do that gently to provoke Brazil to say you got it from Japan.
And this is where like you and him have a lot more tact than I have, and like know how to go about things in a very diplomatic way. My strategy was just kind of say it, but I think that was really important. I just thought it was very ironic that they were saying, well, not Danaher, I should say, Gordon was saying that I stole Danaher's high arm guillotine and that I was like making tons of money on it on my site or something. But they had just told me the week before that Danaher was teaching worm guard in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, they told me that he was teaching worm guard, but while simultaneously accusing me of stealing their moves because I mentioned like to like flare your wrist like that during like a front headlock series I was filming on my site. That's where, I was like, what the hell's that?
I mean, it's so hard to say like anything's clearly your move, you know, because like obviously a lot of stuff Danaher teaches is Marcelo Garcia's game, you know?
I mean, like what does your even mean? Like it implies some sort of ownership of like a configuration of human bodies. That's like saying you own a dance move. Like if you invent the robot, do you own the robot? And so I actually have been really curious about this exact subject.
Did the robot dance move exist before the idea of robots? That's a good question.
Probably not. But there is some case law about owning moves, but not
Jiu-Jitsu moves.
Yoga moves.
Yoga moves.
So that's the only thing I could find. I couldn't find anyone like suing anyone about like dance moves or any sort of other move because I was really curious about this at the time. And it turns out that there's actually some like lawsuits that occurred where people tried to like claim yoga moves. And the result was that you can't own a move.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Like you can't say I invented this particular body configuration and therefore no one else can do it. And while I think it's like obvious that like jiu-jitsu should kind of be similar, that's not the take most people have adopted.
Yeah, we all see something and try to make it better. It doesn't mean it's yours, you know? Sometimes you'll see people do moves that have no ability to teach it, but you can teach it. And you're like,
maybe I should be teaching this because you can't teach it.
Yeah, I'm like inspired. I try to credit people. I'll be like, hey, I'm inspired by, or I feel like a lot of the stuff I'll do, I'll be like, hey, I saw Tellez do these reversals.
Well, that's the thing. It's like most people will just do that. It's strange to like claim that someone has stolen your move. It was like, well, did you invent, like what is the story of this move? I thought about naming worm guard like Cornelius guard, like De La Riva guard. A lot of people said I should have done that, but I felt like it just would have been, I don't know, a little too much. I don't know.
It would have, I mean, if you did that, it probably would have been renamed in Japanese anyway.
Sure. It doesn't even deserve to be a move, honestly.
It's a troll move.
It was a temporary thing. We don't like, people are still playing it, but it's like, you don't have to anymore. You can drop the facade, guys. Like, we did our damage.
I tried to do that with the Octopus guard. I called it the reach around guard. That didn't stick too well. I think people are uncomfortable with that.
It's amazing. Like you would think like that's like the kind of thing it'd be like on brand kind of. It's like you think it would stick, but it doesn't stick. People really love invertebrates. It's like particularly it has to be an invertebrate name. So like spineless bugs.
That's true. Like crab rat,
spider,
and stuff.
Butterfly, worm. I don't know why, but something about like spineless insects is like what people love.
I mean, I think it represents.
Those are the American version. The Japanese ones don't say that.
Well, I think it just represents the big figures in jiu-jitsu. We're all spineless, you know?
I think it's actually translations from Brazilian names, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think because we took Americana from the Brazilian name. I think like worm and butterfly. I think there's like a Portuguese analog for that, and that's how those names came about. But and I came up with something called crab guard, similar exoskeleton. That was a big hit. That helped.
Where did the buggy come from?
I looked into this a little bit, and apparently there's some white belt named Austin who actually came up with this move. And there's a few people contending saying that they claimed to invent the buggy.
Who claimed to invent, was it Samuel Braga claimed to have invented the berimbolo?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I think
that was something actually where like he didn't claim it, but someone came back. I think it was like Edwin or some other guys were like, actually it was Samuel Braga. And he's like, okay, it was me.
Busted, you got me.
But then it comes down to like, well, who did it first on video in competition? I think if you're going to try and make that claim, you better be able to say that you did it first on video in competition. That's kind of always been the acid test for like, if I'm going to claim a move, I'm going to be like, I did it first in competition in 2010 or 2013.
Cade getting PJ, it was like the first real time we saw the buggy work at a high level.
Yeah.
Even though it had been done previously. But I remember, but the problem is sometimes it takes a good guy to do something for you to believe it. Like when you see white belts doing buggies, you were like, that's just some dumb shit. And then Cade did it and you were like, maybe. But then I did it in training and I was like, it's actually pretty funny to do this to people. So I'm going to get involved.
I still can't do a buggy choke.
Really?
Yeah. You would think I'd be able to do it, but I can't.
I like it just for how much it bothers people. You know, I think that's what I get off on.
From a like tactical perspective too, the fact that you can be so threatening from a disadvantaged position, that really changes how the meta works or like what you're going to do.
And because like it's more threatening than it is because it's so, the thought of getting tapped with it is so over defender. It's a great form of guard retention.
Yeah. From like, I mean, how has that changed things? Like are people, I guess it hasn't changed too much. The biggest change was seeing that guy get fucking spiked on his head.
Oh, at trials, right?
I thought that was going to at least like put some water on the flame of buggies for a while, but nope, people keep doing them.
I think I'll keep competing in competition till I can hit one.
Oh, you haven't hit one in competition yet?
Not in competition yet, but I'll just look for easy opponents until we find the right guy.
When you make a new instructional set, do you like try and match it to like what you're planning on doing in competition, or you just kind of pick stuff arbitrarily?
To be honest, sometimes in competition, I just hit something I've never hit before.
And then make the DVD.
Yeah, and then try to work out how I did that.
Right.
Why that worked.
Probably requires a little bit of a creative application during the filming.
Yeah. Well, usually
you're like laying the railroad as you go with those kind of things.
Yeah.
I did this once.
Yeah. Like,
hey, I've been there too.
How did I do this? Why did this happen?
That's part of the process though. It's like you do a move, you start teaching it, and like as you teach it, the curtain gets pulled back and you start to realize what's truly there.
You get better at it. So I usually do a seminar series and like you get better at teaching it because people ask you questions and then you incorporate good questions into the move.
How do you deal with the bad questions at seminars?
Just by trying to humiliate the person asking them in a way that's very friendly to everyone. But I think because people expect me to roast them, it doesn't come across so aggressive.
I just tell them that they're bad questions. Like I feel like it's one of those things where if someone asks a bad question, you almost have a duty to like help them ask better questions, you know?
Well, what, just telling them they're retarded?
Well, what it really does is it just kind of like lowers the entire seminar experience for everyone when people start asking bad questions. So you kind of have to like rescue their bad question and like reframe their question as a better question and then answer your own question. So you just ignore their question, ask your own question, pretend that they said it, and then answer. And that seems to kind of help get around the awkwardness sometimes.
You have to put in the hard rounds. It depends at what point in your career you are. You know, like I think like someone like Nicky Ryan might almost train too technically too often. And when he comes to competition, it's a confronting experience when someone hits him hard and he feels that pressure. So I think different people require different things. when Nicky Rod is breaking the spine of a 37-year-old father of 3 bus driver, it might be time for him to train in a more technical manner. So it's like you got to cater it to what they need. And again, depending on the opponent, it's a game of strategy, you know, like for me, when I was more active, I look at an opponent that I want, that I could steal some clout from, of which the clout you can make money. And I think to myself, what's the best rule set I can beat him in?
Mm-hmm.
That's the strategy. And then how would I beat him in that rule set? So there's so many strategic layers to it that go above and beyond just the training for me. But nowadays I like to, if I train, short duration, high intensity. That's the best of me. I don't like this 10 6-minute rounds, whatever. Like, I don't like this long training. I don't like, it's for me, it's too much toll on the body. I think, I go to the gym, we bang, maybe the first round slightly light, and then just bang it out. 2 hard rounds tops. A little bit of problem solving, get out of there. Because you want to feel a little bit of the competition intensity. That feels the best on my body.
When you're traveling, you're doing seminars and you're just doing jiu-jitsu with folks. Are you training with them? I'm sure there's from everything I see, people would love to train with you.
Yeah, they want to, so, I mean, I don't know what it is. So obviously I guess it's like people want to play basketball with like a basketball star or something, you know what I mean? But, I guess if you played one-on-one with a basketballer, there's no great risk of injury. You know, that's the real problem is like, if you don't roll at your seminar, the seminar participants don't feel like they got the full experience.
Yeah.
But there's snipers at these seminars. There's these sharks that are circling, wanting to attack you. Mm-hmm. And you have to look at it from both perspectives. I think you should provide excellent technique, excellent question and answer time. And I think you should roll a little bit. For the most part these days, I'll just roll 30 minutes straight. I'll just do 10 guys, 3 minutes, no break, 30 minutes straight. I might even get the guy to pick. Because again, some of these guys come in hot.
Yeah. It's terrifying, man. Because the thing is, like with Anthony Bourdain, sort of analogy here, like you're exploring all parts of the world. You just want to be there in the culture, teach good techniques, and just socialize. You don't want to there's just a bunch of killers that are trying to murder you.
Yeah, to them, they're like, I get to test myself against a world-class athlete today. And to you, you're like, oh, I'm in Odessa. I'd like to get to know the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Try some food.
Yeah.
Have a couple drinks and enjoy the place. But to them, it's time to go. You got to rope it open a bit, you know, like if I meet pressure with pressure, I get tired.
Yeah.
But if I don't provide resistance where they think there should be resistance, now it slows their pace down. They get shocked a bit. But 100%, if I'm at a seminar and someone's rolling too hard with me, if I feel like I might get hurt, I will 100% rip a submission on them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like where you're confronted with a threat.
Yeah.
You have to meet it with a threat. It's like, I've spoken about this with Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall will give him a warning and then gone. And I think it's perfectly acceptable. Like, I won't endanger them for no reason. But if you're coming hot, you better tap fast. If I feel a threat, you better tap. I'm not going to break it for the sake of breaking it. But if you do some crazy shit and that might potentially hurt me and I get a submission and I'm tired, if you're fresh, you can catch a heel hook, hold it tight. The guy tries to wiggle out, you got it.
Yeah.
If you're tired and you've been nice with a heel hook and then they slip out and club you in the head, then next time is going to be the last time.
Well, last time, see, you're another level. You and Ryan Hall are just world class. But for me, I'm trying to navigate through this because I'd like to be able to roll, 10 rounds for fun, for cultural.
But they're coming for you too.
And unfortunately, ripping submissions or like, knee on belly, some kind of dominant position, people don't like hear the message at all. Or if I let them submit me a bunch of times, they don't calm down either. So I've been trying to figure out how to solve that puzzle, because I'd like to keep rolling with people across the world for many more years to come. But it's tough.
You
It's a
can't
tough
do
puzzle.
it. If you've reached any level of notoriety, whether it's in the sport or just as a celebrity, you're better off to just have 3-4 trusted training partners and train privately. That's the sad situation. People used to say, "Oh, you could be such and such, you go to any gym." Nah, those days are over now. Now, if you show up and you have any sort of name, they're coming to kill. You're better off. It's so much safer. Training is about trusting. Trust is built from safe rounds.
Yeah.
Strangers are scary.
I don't know. I'm trying to develop a radar when I look at a person. I'm trying to like figure out, are they
from Eastern Europe? I'll tell you what, the most
Yeah.
that's a good one. You know what? Anyone that wears a Pitbull sports rash guard,
Yeah.
or anyone from the country of Poland, be ready.
Oh, Polish people go hard.
People go hard. I've never had a flow roll with a Polish person.
Okay guys, I'm here today with Craig Jones, huge honor for me. And guys, we are making this video here to help all the white belts, to help all the beginners in Jiu-Jitsu. So I think Craig is a great example about that because he's from Australia. So when he started Jiu-Jitsu, he didn't have that very high level of Jiu-Jitsu, right? And even though he was still able to make it through, and here he is, one of the best grapplers in the world. I think he has everything to win the ADCC this year, 2019. So, Craig, how did you do? Like, you were from Australia, you didn't have that level of Jiu-Jitsu, especially over there when you started.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, well, it's funny actually because when I was a white belt, when I first started, I think my coach was a white belt too.
yep.
So like obviously he'd get his blue belt and I'd get my next belt. So I'd have to wait for his promotions to get mine. So
Okay.
something I had to figure out early was to find information wherever you can. So obviously back then I think I started with instructional textbooks, which reading those old books like Shanji's textbook and stuff. And then obviously moved on to instructionals and stuff. But obviously you don't have elite level instruction available in your city or in your gym. There's definitely resources online available to find it.
So you watched a lot of videos and that was the way you...
That's all I had, yeah, nothing else really.
Oh man, that's amazing. And how long it took from you from the white to blue belt?
This is funny, I barely trained until purple belt, right? So like, because obviously my gym was very small. In my city there was, I think we had one competition a year or something, but not really anyone would do it. So I can barely remember training. I trained like once, twice a week. By the time I didn't deserve my purple belt when I got it, I think. I pretty much knew nothing. And then I had to catch up from that point on. Once I started traveling around the world and finding good gyms to train at.
I got it. So, but you never stopped it, right? Or have
Never
you...
stopped, no.
Yeah, so that might be a great tip, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, that'd be
the
a
fact
great
that you never stop it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good tip for injury prevention. I think a lot of guys that take a big break from jiu-jitsu and then come back with pressure on them to train hard take a pretty bad injury. Obviously, guys catch up, their body gets unconditioned. So for me, even if I wasn't training every day, I would still be getting in 1 or 2 sessions a week.
I got it. So guys, so one thing you did, you watched a lot of videos. Second thing you did, you never stop it. What else? Let's try to understand here how you became who you are. Like,
I guess I really just had to put in a lot of work at purple belt. When I got my purple belt, I went to the States and got my ass kicked. So really from that point on, I had to make up for lost time. So really at the time, the big trend in jiu-jitsu was like the berimbolo and stuff. So I was trying to identify what the best guys around the world were doing and trying to use those tricks to beat out people back in Australia.
I got it. And when was your first tournament in jiu-jitsu? You remember?
Actually, 10 years ago today, the first time I competed was as a white belt in the Australian Nationals.
So you competed as a white belt?
As a white belt, yeah.
I got it.
I think once, I think.
I got it.
That was it.
No, I got it. And then how long it took from you from blue to purple?
You know what? Basically, my memories prior to purple belt, it was like something just like a casual hobby. I would train every now and then. I got my purple belt from purple to brown was like 3.5 years.
I got it.
Spent quite a bit of time at purple, I think, because I essentially went into it with not much knowledge at all and had to make up for a lot of lost time.
I got it.
So a long time at purple, 3.5, and then just 12 months at brown belt.
I got it. Yeah, and then like 2 years before the ADCC that you tapped Leandro Lo, Murilo Santana, 2 years before you were purple belt, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think was the most important thing you did from purple to that day that made you become like the Craig Johns that everywhere knows?
I guess just trying to identify trends in the sport, trying to predict where the sport was going, really, and trying to get ahead of the curve. Back then, a lot of traveling to gyms around the world. Like I remember visiting you back as a purple belt.
Yep.
Those trips back then were probably equally competition and training as partying, but we still got a fair bit of training in back then. Just trying to really take advantage of the access we have to some of the best guys in the world.
I got it. So guys, my note here was Craig never stopped doing jiu-jitsu. He watched a ton of videos online, and he also did competitions. So I always see this question, right? Like, should I compete in jiu-jitsu and that? I think if you want to improve faster, that's a huge help, right?
Yeah, definitely. And, I would compete all the time because I think when you have that competition coming up that you could potentially make a fool of yourself at, you put in a bit more effort training to prepare yourself for that event.
Got it. No, man, great stuff. Thanks so much, Craig.
Thank you.
Was there ever any chance that Gordon Ryan would enter?
I don't think so.
Is that something you tried?
Me and Gordon don't text each other too often. I tag him on Instagram and things, but he doesn't respond.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about your history with Nicholas Meregali.
My history with Nicholas Meregali. Actually, it dates back to a time where probably he does not even remember. Yeah. Back when I used to wear a kimono. So I went to Abu Dhabi World Pro. I was chasing my gi dreams.
Yeah.
I lost I can't even remember. Again, probably the final. No, me. I probably lost in the final against Tommy Langlaka in the weight division. This was the last year they did the absolute. I went into the absolute. I made it all the way to the semis. Nicholas Meregali destroyed me in the gi. I did hit a nice little reversal on him though. He passed my guard and I somehow reversed him from side control. That's the only part of the match I share. After which he swept me, submitted me.
You reversed him from side control?
Yeah.
Okay. So that could be like an instructional also.
That could, yeah, exactly.
But right place, right time though. All right,
but then years later, I left the team. Meregali replaced me. So they've brought in a more credentialed, handsome, doesn't speak as well, but they've brought him in. He's my replacement. He's coming to the team. We face off at ADCC. I do a heavier division thinking, I looked at the names and I was like, that looks like an easier division. And I had two teammates at the time that were in my 88. And I was like, those guys will have to face off first round. I'll have to face one of them second round, the way they do the seating and the structure of the bracket. So I was like, I'll do 99. I'll leave 88 for the boys. They both lost my division first round, unfortunately. So I faced off against Meregali beginning of day 2. A lot of pressure because Danaher's used to corner me, used to be my coach. Now he's cornering the Brazilians who we used to complain about as the enemy. And I'm like, what's going on over here? It's like Karate Kid stuff. I face off against Meregali. I go hard early because I think he can't defend leg locks. For the first 3 minutes, I'm just attacking legs. I ended up sweeping him, getting on top. No points before the points period, but I'm very tired. I'm very tired at this point. Meregali's big. Like there's some guys that get juiced up to hit a certain weight. That's what I did to enter this division. You can't keep your gas tank. Meregali's just a big dude. Who knows if he's on the juice or not, but he's just naturally sits around 230 pounds or even 225. When you're naturally that big, your gas tank's a bit better. Again, if you balloon yourself up on every substance possible, gas tank's surprisingly not too good. So we have a bit of a close one. Decision goes my way. Ultimately, finals next, I lose that. But that is sort of our competitive history. Mm-hmm. We were meant to have a match that had been pre-booked immediately after ADCC. So we agreed to this before ADCC. I was like, if the price is right, I'm in. So I sign up for it and I'm thinking at ADCC that we're going to face off soon after. Meregali chose instead to have some vacation time. He wanted to go on vacation. He wanted to relax, a bit of relaxation down in Brazil. So the match is scrapped. Flow hit me up and they say, can you do February? And this was about the time that Volks fought Islam in Perth. I was like, no, I can't do February because
I'll be helping Volkanovski. That's going to take precedence over this match. Flo goes, you know what we'll do? We'll announce it anyway. We'll sell those tickets anyway. We'll get the people hyped, and then we'll just have you pull out. And I'm like, all right, do it. I'm like, do whatever you want. That's fucking probably not a good idea, but they do that. And then people keep trying to rebook this match. But now I barely even train anymore. I'm busy being a promoter, traveling around. So now, instead of facing him in competition again, which I would do if the price was right, they'd have to pay me very well. 2 of the shows have offered me the match, but the money, terrible.
What do you think is a number that would convince you?
It would have to be, I would think, $500,000.
Huh.
Otherwise, I just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd have to be worth it, because to put a price on a guy that takes himself as serious as Meregali, Meregali's a very serious man.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about authenticity. He's talking about words he doesn't even understand. For me to give him the opportunity to live in a world where he had won the last match against me, it's hard to put a price on that. It's, you know, when people say it's not about the money, it's not about the money. It's about me waking up every day knowing that he knows he lost to me.
So you think you've gotten it in his head?
Yes.
How do you think you would do if you were to face him for the said 500,000?
For the 500?
Yeah.
I think over 5 minutes, I beat anyone in the world.
But
But
you still think you got it?
I still think I got it. Gabby about to find out too.
All right, so you're gonna make a statement with Gabby, like that it'll be a match. It'll be a match she remembers.
Yeah, she for sure will remember. I think the fans will remember it as well. I'm open to, like, if we do this match, I'm taking it very serious, but we'd be open to rematches. I've always said I would have a MMA fight with her. I wouldn't be afraid to hit a big woman.
So, unlike with Meregali, if you win, you're not going to ride out off to the sunset with Gabby.
I'm a bit of a romantic. I think she deserves a few finishes, you know? Not one and hit the bed that night.
So you think you can actually beat Nicholas Meregali?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you could throw a riddle at him before the match. That'd fucking complicate things for him for the next hour.
For people out there listening that have aspirations to someday be in a position like yours, where they can just compete full time and do seminars and support themselves through their love of jiu-jitsu, what advice would you give to a young guy, say he's, you know, young white belt, blue belt, who's, you know, trying to get competitive and trying to get out there? What are some pitfalls you can recommend they avoid, and some extra things that you think they can do to help accelerate their career?
I mean, I would try to ask yourself, what are your goals? Are your goals to simply grab medals and win championships? If that's simply your goal, you're probably going to struggle to make a lot of money in the sport. I would say really the goal should be to express as much of your personality as possible, to become marketable. I remember I heard Keenan talk about this one day, once upon a time. He said, you got to put your personality out there. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, but at least they're going to see you as sort of an honest person. They actually get to know you. And I would say it's a great example of that would be the Daisy Fresh guys. Those guys now make money, but the reason they're so interesting and beloved is because of how interesting those guys are. Yeah. Andrew Wilds talks, he's a character. He comes across as a genuine person, though, and the fans can really relate to that. And I would say especially the Brazilian guys coming across, and obviously they have their challenges because English is their second language, but I find that we don't get to know them. We don't get to know them through their interviews. We don't get to know them through their social media. They play it a different way, and it just doesn't really connect them as much with the fans. And again, if the fans love you, you don't even need to be winning. You just need to be showing up, putting yourself out there. And if the fans love you and you put out an instructional product, they're going to buy it and support you. There might be a better instructional out there, but if they really love you, you're their favorite grappler, they're going to buy yours as well. And I think that's the big disconnect right now in terms of people making money in the sport, is that if you do an interview and you're polite, you don't really give much away, there's no joking around, depending on who you are, I think that's the real big pitfall in the sport. And that's why we see some world champions that don't sell much on BJJ Fanatics, why they don't make a lot in super fights, why people don't come to their seminars. And I would say you don't need to be Gordon, or you don't even need to be like me. I'm sort of an idiot on there. I try to highlight the opposites of what most people are in the sport, where they're super, super serious, take themselves very serious. You just need to be able to express yourself to your audience, and your audience is going to grow, I think. But again, if you don't do that, it could be to your detriment. You want to be memorable, and world titles aren't enough to be memorable. Classic example, ADCC 2019. Lachlan Giles came third in absolute. But if anyone talks about ADCC 2019, that's the only story they talk about. So you need to create like emotions in the fans, you know?
To white belt get good, I think they just have to show up, just have to put in the effort, try to focus on using techniques in training rather than just fighting to the death, you know? Although that is entertaining for us to watch, two white belts fight to the death.
Yeah, but what are the techniques you should focus on? Like, what's the process? What does it mean to show up? Like, how much drilling, all that kind of stuff. Like, what if you were to optimize the first 6 months of a beginner? There's a lot of people who would listen to this and haven't tried. They've been curious. I have a lot of friends who are like jiu-jitsu curious. They're constantly looking for an excuse to start.
I think it's just got to be as simple as possible. You know, like we shouldn't be teaching more advanced movements. I mean, obviously in the grand scheme of things, there's highly advanced techniques and then there's slightly advanced. And I think trying to teach those guys real specific positions, even like real specific types of guard, is just beyond them. Mm-hmm. I think the best way to learn is through problem solving. And I think if you show the technique before they've discovered that problem, the learning is sort of held back. So I like the idea of using kids style games to show them a problem and then use the techniques to fix the problems they've just discovered. I think that's the best way to learn.
Can you give an example of a problem to show them before you give them the techniques? Like, what are we talking about?
All right, so say you wanted to teach posture in wrestling. You could create a game where the game might be get to a leg or get to 2 legs, control the leg, like super simple. But the constraint would be one guy is forced to keep an upright posture and one guy is not forced, but he's allowed to keep a bent at the hips, lower posture. And obviously within that constraint, the guy with the better posture is going to have more success. He's going to have a better posture to secure a leg or secure both legs. And therefore you've demonstrated the flaws of bad posture without having to explain it to them before they really tested that out.
Okay, and then the result of that, you would realize that the bent over posture is better.
Yeah, you have that aha moment rather than just having it spoken to you.
You wrote, Craig, I'm a big fan of constraint-based learning, I guess was just what you're talking about. I love presenting beginners with a problem before the solution. Like here, attempt to hold side control with no cues on how. Then I see how the guy got out and addressed issue by issue, crossface and hip control and so on. Okay. So what are some other examples, like side control?
Yeah, that would be an excellent one. Side control. Like teacher, like obviously we say, you secure a crossface so they can't turn into you. Much easier to have them try to hold someone down without explaining what a crossface is and then use that technique to address the problem they've just encountered. So I think you could do that with a lot of areas of jiu-jitsu, like even more advanced, say 50-50. Obviously a mirrored position where you both have access to each other's heels. Most people will stall out in that position and keep their feet crossed. I think a great constraint for both of them, you can't cross your feet. Now you have to learn how to slip the heel hook when they expose it and how to safely re-attack of your own. So the constraint is you can't be too defensive in that position. And I think the rate of learning increases.
Why do you think the rate of learning increases? Like, why do you think that works?
Because you encounter more problems. Say in that situation, they're going to get you heel a lot more in whatever period of time you allocate the drill for than if the legs are crossed. I don't think the hard part's splitting the legs to get to the submission. I think the hard part's practicing control while they're trying to slip it at a later stage. And then obviously trying to slip your heel when you're in more danger also makes you more comfortable in that bad position if you're used to doing it with open legs.
Yeah, I think that probably that style of teaching forces people to focus on, because it's so easy to fall into focusing on like memorizing a particular details of a technique without thinking like, why the hell does this even work? And exactly, if you don't have that, you get to focus on like, from like, as cliche as it sounds, from first principles, like how the hell do I get out of this? Like, why does this even work? Why does wrestling work? Why do you have a bent over posture? You get to like start to ask those kinds of questions, which is kind of interesting because it's not obvious to me that bent over posture is the right posture for jiu-jitsu, right? I'm confused actually about that. I don't know.
About the correct posture?
Yeah, for jiu-jitsu. Like, what's the right answer?
I think bent over posture is still good for jiu-jitsu.
Even with the judo and all that. Like, why are so many jiu-jitsu people, like, at a high level, the posture is higher up?
Well, I think wrestling posture is just a bit too low because it's not necessary, right? If wrestlers are like low enough to the ground where your hands could touch the mat, but in jiu-jitsu, you know, it's kind of a mix between like wrestling and judo or Greco-Roman wrestling. So I think it's just a bit more lax, and it's bent over, but it's not upright, and it's also not super low. You know,
A bit more room for error too, because obviously the jiu-jitsu guy's shot isn't going to be as athletic or as quick as a wrestler, especially a wrestler with shoes.
So it actually comes down to the fact that jiu-jitsu people, just on average, even at the top level, are not good at shooting.
I think so. Yeah, I think obviously, I mean, all the wrestlers in American stuff, they're starting super early, super young. You know what I mean? They've by the time they get to the same age we are, really, in our sport and stuff, they've spent much longer doing the actual sport than the average jiu-jitsu guy.
You were tasked with coaching a beginner, a hobbyist beginner. How would you help them become good in a year? What would be the training regimen? What would be their approach, mental, physical, in terms of practice to jiu-jitsu?
I mean, honestly, picking safe training partners and trying to understand the positions and not just freaking out. Like, you might escape if you freak out, but you also might be stuck in something and you injure yourself. So it's like, I think if you can, it's just about longevity. You know, like, if you can find a pace to train at and a like sort of intensity and the right people, you could potentially train 5 years without injury. It's really about how you move. If you are always moving in an explosive way, eventually you're going to do that from a position in which you can't move, and then something's going to tear. And you also want to be able to trust training partners to not go too crazy, inflict too much pain. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I think I've managed to avoid a lot of injuries because I just never roll too athletically, explosively. I think I'm probably incapable of moving at that rate of speed.
So that's part of it, is the way you move, but I guess you also don't allow anybody to put you in a really bad position in terms of hurting you.
I let them put me in bad position, but I try to stay relaxed at all times. You know, that's the key here, is like, I mean, yeah, obviously you got the cheesy, keep it playful, but it's like, if you can remain calm in bad positions, that is a skill. That's your confidence, not in yourself, but that the other guy's incapable of submitting you. That's the ultimate confidence. You can give them whatever you want.
So the thing you want as a beginner is to focus on minimizing injury by relaxing, by not freaking out.
Yes, keeping it at a pace so you can understand what just happened.
The thing is, like, how do you know if you're freaking out or not as a beginner? It feels like
if you're panicking.
Yeah, that's a good. If you're, I mean, I see a lot of beginners kind of starting to breathe hard, they tense up. That's probably underneath that is panic.
Yeah, if you can make someone panic, you will fatigue them. It's the same. It's like even if you're higher level and you're worried about getting your guard passed, it's the panic that leads to fatigue in your guard retention. But if you're so flexible, you remain calm, I think it's because you're not panicked.
Fear is the mind killer. But also, you have one of the more innovative games in jiu-jitsu history. How'd you develop that? How do you continue throughout your career? How were you innovating? What was your approach to learning and figuring positions out, figuring submissions out?
I mean, financial motivation. If you can hit moves that no one else knows how to do,
yeah,
you can sell those instructionals. But also it keeps it interesting because it's like, I mean, it can get stagnant and boring, you know, like a lot of people get to blue belt, they're good at one thing, they only do that one thing. I think it's finding creative ways to beat people. And sometimes creativity is in how they respond to it. So if you can find a humiliating move to do to someone, well, not even necessarily humiliating, but a move that is unexpected. When you get hit with something you don't expect, I think that is sort of really one of the most fun aspects of it. You know what I mean? Like, you train to stay better than the people you're better than. That's what keeps you in the game. And finding creative ways to beat those people is some of the most entertainment.
So that's just something that brings you joy, is by doing the unexpected.
Yeah, if you get swept with something that you don't think should work, I think that's fulfillment.
So your game is even a bit trolly. Interesting. So like, but what's the actual process of like with the Z guard, all the innovative stuff you've done there? How do you come up with ideas there?
I mean, you just studying tape. Just study tape and try to reverse engineer. Like if I see something or I train with someone and it feels, when you have those moments where you're like, oh, I don't even know what they're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can put someone in a position they don't understand, that's also where they panic. So it's like creating different ways to make people panic. But also, I mean, it's just innovation, like having fun with it. Like I guess the artistic aspect of it is fun. You can be creative in how you can beat people.
Did you say artistic or autistic?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Just checking.
I like that, like, unlike a lot of other martial arts, there's a lot of things that people do that you just have to take their word for it, that those techniques work. When in Jiu-Jitsu, we really get to test it. What I like most about Jiu-Jitsu is it's easy to eliminate a lot of the fake stuff through competition or even through hard training. Like a lot of people come up with moves or use moves that are really low percentage moves in the gym, but for the high level competitors, those moves get eliminated. You know what I mean? We cut away the incorrect technique. So only the good technique really prevails in competition. Be careful because it's going to slowly take over your life. Most people that start Jiu-Jitsu, they really do enjoy it, and I find most people do enjoy it. After they've trained about 1 or 2 sessions a week for a while, you see that start to increase to 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, and you meet guys that when they came to start Jiu-Jitsu at maybe 25, 30, 35, hadn't done anything athletics in school, but they still get hooked and they still train every night of the week.
Psychologically, it's really, really brutal. Like for me, anytime I'm leading up to any event of any meaningful significance, it's horrible on a psychological level because you're always thinking about, are you training enough? Are you doing enough? If you feel any signs of sickness, injury, the stress levels increase, your sleep quality decreases. It's all those little subtle things that are so hard to mitigate. So like whether you feel like you're training hard enough, you're overtraining, those to me are the most difficult aspects. And I think really those are an individual thing. And that's really something where a coach can provide what he thinks to you is the right amount of work, and I think that's different for different people. I think Nicky Rod could do 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? I think Nicky Ryan, 8 minutes.
I saw a video of Nicky Ryan like with a trash can throwing up.
Yes.
and like the top comment is like, that's him doing the warm up.
That is satisfying to watch, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're supposed to train hard enough to where you have this confidence that you're prepared.
Yeah. I mean, and it's an impossible thing to grasp. It's like some of the best performances I've had, I've been called up last minute or I've been sick or my camp's been horrible. And for me personally, I've gone in there and thought, relaxed, almost like, like you got called up a week ago, you were injured, you missed 4 weeks of your camp. And I went in there super relaxed and accepting of the result and performed much better. Sometimes when I know 3 months out, I've got an event coming up and that event only happens every 2 years. The stress of that alone, like I personally, on an individual level, more of I'd rather wing it. I'd rather be in the stands and just roll down. Like Gunnar Nelson, I remember he had a brilliant performance in an adcc absolute. And he was out drinking the night before. He had no idea he was competing the next day. He was in the stands eating ice cream and they called his name out for the absolute and he went out there and I believe he got bronze. I believe he beat Jeff Munson. So it's like, it's different for different people. Obviously, you don't want that to be the standard. You've got to be putting in the work at all times. But even now, in my crazy travel schedule, where I don't train anywhere near like I used to, as long as your game is technical and as long as your body's in good condition, I believe you can still train well against world-class guys. You might not be able to do an hour straight, but if you're technique orientated, you're just losing fitness.
So is it possible to out-cardio Craig Jones? Like, is your game fundamentally a technique-based game?
For sure, yeah. I've never wanted to win anything bad enough to train properly for it.
Right. But isn't that the secret to your success? Being lazy?
I think so. I think that's that can be the only logical explanation, you know. And I also use it as mind games too. Like again, no one knows whether what I'm saying is true or not.
Right.
And I'm not saying this story to say anything bad about my opponent at the time, but I booked 2 matches in 2 consecutive weekends, and I'd been traveling. I think I just got back from one of my trips. I'd been over international, so I don't even know where the fuck I was.
Yeah.
But
You're in Texas right now, by the way, just in case you forgot.
Texas, just for you. Just came back.
Thank
for
you, man. This is an honor.
But I hadn't really even trained. I couldn't train. Like I was traveling, just had no ability to train. I trained for like a week, had the Phil Rowe match. And I said to myself, I was down in Mexico City. And I said, you know what? If you win this match, you got to face Lovato next week. Don't go out and party. Don't celebrate the victory. But as a 32-year-old man at the time, hitting a flying triangle submission, I thought that deemed a worthy after party.
Yeah.
And we got out of control that night. And it wasn't until the next day I woke up, I was like, oh, I have Lovato next weekend. But I'm also, people don't know whether I'm telling the truth or not, but it's also, I'm almost too honest, because I'll be like doing interviews saying, yeah, I was out partying, I barely trained. The opponent looks into that and they question it. Is he telling the truth? Is he baiting me? Is he really that unconcerned? You know what I mean? It's almost a psychological battle in and of itself, but for the most part, it's true.
So to you, being psychologically relaxed is extremely important. Just not giving a damn. I wonder what that is.
Not too much pressure. I don't want
Pressure.
I don't like the pressure.
But you like the pressure when it comes to internet shit talking.
Well, I mean, you got to silently sit back and think about a good response, you know?
Yeah. How important is it to just go crazy hard rounds leading up to competitions like that? You said sort of Nicky Rod, but like on average for like athletes at world-class level, do you have to put in the hard rounds?
Yeah, I think you have to put in the hard rounds. It depends at what point in your career you are. You know, like I think like someone like Nicky Ryan might almost train too technically too often. And when he comes to competition, it's a confronting experience when someone hits him hard and he feels that pressure. So I think different people require different things. When Nicky Rod is breaking the spine of a 37-year-old father of 3 bus driver, it might be time for him to train in a more technical manner. So it's like you got to cater it to what they need. And again, depending on the opponent, it's a game of strategy, you know? Like for me, when I was more active, I look at an opponent that I want, that I could steal some clout from, off of which the clout you can make money. And I think to myself, what's the best rule set I can beat him in?
Mm-hmm.
That's the strategy. And then how would I beat him in that rule set? So there's so many strategic layers to it that go above and beyond just the training for me. But nowadays I like to, if I train, short duration, high intensity. That's the best for me. I don't like this 10 6-minute rounds, whatever. Like I don't like this long training. I don't like, it's for me, it's too much toll on the body. I think, I go to the gym, we bang, maybe the first round slightly light and then just bang it out. 2 hard rounds tops. A little bit of problem solving, get out of there. Because you want to feel a little bit of the competition intensity. That feels the best on my body.
When you're traveling, you're doing seminars and you're just doing jiu-jitsu with folks. Are you training with them? I'm sure there's like, from everything I see, people would love to train with you.
Yeah, they want to, so, I mean, I don't know what it is. So, obviously, I guess it's like people want to play basketball with like a basketball star or something, you know what I mean? But I guess if you played one-on-one with a basketball, there's no great risk of injury. You know, that's the real problem is like, if you don't roll at your seminar, the seminar participants don't feel like they got the full experience.
Yeah.
But there's snipers at these seminars. There's these sharks that's circling, wanting to attack you. Mm-hmm. And you have to look at it from both perspectives. I think you should provide excellent technique, excellent question and answer time. And I think you should roll a little bit. For the most part these days, I'll just roll 30 minutes straight. I'll just do 10 guys, 3 minutes, no break, 30 minutes straight. I might even get the guy to pick. Because again, some of these guys come in hot.
Yeah, it's terrifying, man. Because the thing is, like with Anthony Bourdain, sort of analogy here. Like you're exploring all parts of the world. You just want to be there in the culture, teach good techniques, and just socialize. You don't want to there's just a bunch of killers that are trying to murder you.
Yeah, to them, they're like, I get to test myself against a world-class athlete today. And to you, you're like, oh, I'm in Odessa. I'd like to get to know the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Try some food,
Yeah.
have a couple drinks, and enjoy the place. But to them, it's time to go. You got to rope it open a bit, like if I meet pressure with pressure, I get tired.
Yeah.
But if I don't provide resistance where they think there should be resistance, now it slows their pace down. They get shocked a bit. But 100%, if I'm at a seminar and someone's rolling too hard with me, if I feel like I might get hurt, I will 100% rip a submission on them. You know what I mean? It's like where you're confronted with a threat.
Yeah.
You have to meet it with a threat. It's like, I've spoken about this with Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall will give him a warning and then gone. And I think it's perfectly acceptable. I won't endanger them for no reason. But if you're coming hot, you better tap fast. If I feel a threat, you better tap. I'm not going to break it for the sake of breaking it. But if you do some crazy shit and that might potentially hurt me and I get a submission, and I'm tired. If you're fresh, you can catch a heel hook, hold it tight. The guy tries to wiggle out, you got it.
Yeah.
If you're tired and you've been nice with a heel hook and then they slip out and club you on the head, then next time is going to be the last time.
Well, last time, see, you're another level. You and Ryan Hall are just world class. But for me, I'm trying to navigate through this because I'd like to be able to roll, 10 rounds for fun, for cultural.
But they're coming for you too.
And unfortunately, ripping submissions or knee on belly, some kind of dominant position, people don't hear the message at all. Or if I let them submit me a bunch of times, they don't calm down either. So I've been trying to figure out how to solve that puzzle because I'd like to keep rolling with people across the world for many more years to come. But it's tough.
You can't do it. If you've reached any level of notoriety, whether it's in the sport or just as a celebrity, you're better off to just have 3-4 trusted training partners and train privately. That's the sad situation. People used to say, oh, you could be such and such a good anti-gym. Nah, those days are over now. Now, if you show up and you have any sort of name, they're coming to kill. You're better off. It's so much safer. Training is about trusting. Trust is built from safe rounds. Yeah. Strangers are scary.
I don't know. I'm trying to develop a radar when I look at a person. I'm trying to figure out, are they
from Eastern Europe? I'll tell you what, the most
yeah.
That's a good one. You know what? Anyone that wears a Pitbull sports rash guard, or anyone from the country of Poland, be ready.
Oh, Polish people go hard.
People go hard. I've never had a flow roll with a Polish person.
Somebody on Reddit asked, how many legs did you break in Eastern Europe?
3 or 4.
To send a message or just for your own personal enjoyment?
I don't enjoy it. You
don't enjoy the violence.
It is humorous after the fact, though. Because it's just bro, I'm jet lagged. I'm tired. I'm here for you guys. Why are you trying to hurt me? If I get a submission, tap, don't hesitate at all. Don't hesitate. Jiu-Jitsu is dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. And when strangers going crazy, it's their show. They think they're getting invites to the CJI if they tap me. It's just wild.
This is point 2. We're calling it Octopus guard. Across the board, I don't want you to think of it as a guard. It's not a guard. It's not a closed guard. It's not a half guard. It is a position that we are moving at all times. We're hitting tipping points, tilting points. We're making them chase us and onto us, shoot for submissions and pins that aren't really there. So again, although we're calling it Octopus Guard 2.0, try not to think of it as a guard, think of it as an ongoing scramble. That is a problem that is hard for them to solve. And we're going to have sort of answers for all the options and all the risks we take along the way.